How important do you think Eusebio can be in world football? He was the first talented player from Africa to be transferred to European football, opening the door to inspiring many in football. He was a true ball player in many ways, providing proof that football genius comes from the most unexpected countries. Eusebio da Silva Ferreira was born in Lourenço Marques, now known as Maputo in Mozambique, in 1942. His father was a railway worker and his mother was a black Mozambican. His father succumbed to tetanus and died when Eusebio was only 8 years old. Honing his skills by skipping school and playing barefoot on the streets, Eusebio signed a contract with Sporting Lisbon's feeder club, Sporting Clube de Lourenço Marques, at the age of 15. He only joined the team after being rejected by the Benfica team where another future Benfica star, Mario Coluna, started. It didn't take long for the young striker to make an impression and for his extraordinary talent to spread. So much so that Juventus tried to take him to Italy, but he was rejected by his mother. In fact, his future was decided in a barbershop in Lisbon. José Carlos Bauer, coach of Brazilian club São Paulo, was complimenting a friend about the skills of an 18-year-old he had seen in Mozambique. His friend was legendary Benfica coach Bela Gutmann. Gutmann clearly took notice of his Brazilian friend because within a week he was traveling to Mozambique to persuade Eusebio's mother to allow him to take her son to Portugal and sign for Benfica and not parent club Sporting. Eusebio's mother agreed, but Sporting was angry that a player they considered there was signed by their biggest rivals. He moved to Portugal in December 1960, but as the legality of the deal was still disputed, he did not sign for the Eagles until May 1961, after 5 months of legal wrangling. After almost 15 years at Benfica, Eusebio took his talents across the Atlantic in 1975 to compete in the burgeoning National American Soccer League. He would play for the Boston Minutemen, Toronto Metros Croatia, where he scored in the final as his team won the 1976 Soccer Bowl, Las Vegas Quicksilvers and New Jersey Americans. He also had brief stints with Monterrey in Mexico and 2 clubs in Portugal, Beira-Mar and União Tomar, before finally hanging up his shoes in 1979. After his retirement, Eusebio became an ambassador for Benfica and inspired future Portuguese stars Luis Figo, Rui Costa and Cristiano Ronaldo. He was respected wherever he went. Nowhere was he more respected than in Portugal as well as in Mozambique, where he remained a true hero. Eusebio spent his life quietly in Lisbon and died at his home in Portugal in 2014, age 71. None other than Alfredo Di Stefano called him the best player of all time, and the accolades came from far and wide, with Cristiano Ronaldo saying he was always eternal and Luis Figo calling him the best. Following his death, the Portuguese government declared 3 days of national mourning. A year later, the road running in front of Benfica's Estádio da Luz was renamed Avenida Eusebio da Silva Ferreira, and in an unprecedented move, Parliament voted unanimously to have him buried in the Pantheon, a memorial usually reserved for former leaders of state, prominent cultural figures. This tribute explains how Eusebio's legend and status extend far beyond the world of football. When a list of the world's greatest ever players is compiled, there can be little doubt that Eusebio's name will be at or near the top. But his humble beginnings and the path he paved to the top of the game illuminated the path for generations of Africans to follow. Married to Flora, Eusebio had 2 daughters, Carla and Sandra, so he didn't have a son to carry on his legacy, but he left a much older one. Before Eusebio, there were Africans playing first-class football in France, Spain, and Portugal. But he certainly opened the floodgates and was the man who made many young people believe that with talent, practice, and ambition, anything is possible.